So hello all. So I know it's been a very important day for which you have spent your entire a year or more than that. So you have written the examination. Maybe it could have been not up to your expectation. See, anyone who is coming outside of the expectation may feel that you have not done well. Okay, so let that feeling die down because you have to rationally understand what you have done, what mistakes you have committed. So as of now, don't be panicking. Don't feel, let's say, distraught. Just go through these questions. So this is an attempt to just register what is right, what is wrong. So just go through. If you are going through this video, this is my advice for you. Whatever be the case, the situation you are in right now, don't be too upset. Right? Don't have this kind of feelings that overwhelms you. என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றது மட்டும் நம்ம மைண்ட்ல செட் பண்ணா போதும். ஸோ வாட் நீட்ஸ் டு பி டன் அப்படின்றது will always be in our control. What has already happened, we can never change that. சரியா? So on that note, let me begin this discussion with one observation from our side. என்னன்னா இந்த வருஷத்தோட கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர், this year's question paper has been relatively easier in comparison to the last year. I wouldn't say that it has been so easy that the cutoff would become 195 and it will go back to the days of 2017-18. It's not the case. Of course, it has this year also. The questions have been trickier, but the bringing back of this 1, 2, 3, the scope of elimination, I think UPSC has heard us, right? The kind of uncertainty that prevailed in the last year, the kind of say luck factor that came into this one only, two only type of questions, that has been done away with. And some around, if you go and look into the type of questions, 43 questions have come nearly with 1, 2, 3 types. So this is a good sign. This could amplify the chances of you taking or attempting more questions. Okay, so on that note, let's enter into questions that were related to UPSC economy. So this year also in economy, in core economy, around 14 questions have come, and related to economy, for example, the demography questions, the airport questions, and let's say some other two schemes related to economy also that has been already discussed by SIVARAJAVEL sir. So take all these questions cumulatively, you have around 17, 18 questions in economy. Fine. So this has been on expected lines. So let's go into the question. First question, which of the following are greenfield projects in the recent past? So Doni Polo Airport, this is in Tripura. So in the year 2022, Prime Minister Modi had inaugurated this. This was an international airport, an airport that was constructed in Tripura. This is correct. Kushinagar International Airport of UP is also the 6th greenfield airport that was constructed. So it is also an international airport. So this is mainly to cater to the Buddhist circuit. Okay, so that is it. So this is also a greenfield. One is also a greenfield. Vijayawada International Airport is not a greenfield. Maybe you could have used some bit of logic because Vijayawada has been a tier 2 city and tier 1 city for many, many years. And there has been an airport. The conversion of that, or the airport, has been given a status of international airport some 2 years ago. And therefore, this is not a greenfield project. So if you could have eliminated 3, so there is a scope for elimination. You may not know Doni Polo, you may not know Kushinagar International Airport, but it is quite easier for us to assume that Vijayawada International Airport, maybe if this was, Vijayawada is not a new city. Maybe if, let's say, Andhra Pradesh new government has come, they may create an international airport in Amravati, that is an greenfield. Vijayawada is a state or is a district that is a very important district for many years, and therefore this is incorrect. The answer is 1 and 2. So some questions related to this. Let me just, okay, fine. Okay. So question number 24, it is one of the agencies of United Nations, now World Toilet Organization. Some miscellaneous questions also I will be handling. So World Toilet Organization. So about this is something that we would have never gone through, right? This is not a very important organization that you will be studying in your books. And therefore, this is a organization that has been taking some efforts. But these kind of questions need to be answered on the basis of logic and, let's say, some intuitive sense. So it is one of the agencies of UN. About United Nations, you would have studied many things, isn't it? Have you ever come across this organization? No. So it is one of the agencies. Eliminate. Fine. World Toilet Summit, World Toilet Day, World Toilet College are initiatives of this organization. We have an entire organization that is named as World Toilet Organization. Then it is quite likely that they would have come out with these initiatives. And therefore, 2 could be possibly right. Now, 3, the main focus of its function is to give fund to the least developing countries and other developing countries to achieve end of open defecation, right? Even for us, our Swachh Bharat missions and all, we take loans from World Bank. If we had an organization which was giving us funding, we would have seen about that. We would have read about that in the news. Therefore, we went through the website also. What this World Toilet Organization does is to create initiatives and to bring awareness, to bring about collaboration between countries, NGOs and all. It is primarily an NGO. Okay, so this is not one of its primary functions. The main focus is to bring awareness about this, and therefore 2 alone is correct. Okay, so you could have eliminated 3 also, you could have eliminated 1 also. Now, question number 40, which of the following is correct with, this CBLO, collateral borrowing, this is called as CBLO. In certain books, you might have studied, but why we do not have, you may have not read about this in your books traditionally, because in the year 2018 itself, we have the year 2018 itself, this particular mechanism has been replaced by a tripartite repo, right? But let's say, just look at this. This is a mechanism, isn't it? This is an instrument. Where would it be? Collateralized borrowing and lending obligations. So what is money market? Money market is the place where all banks lend to each other. If it is happening in the form of a collateralized borrowing, that is called a CBLO. That collateralized borrowing, after the introduction of the repo and all, now has had an even advanced form in the form of tripartite repo. So this is related to C, money market. The total fertility rate. So this was also in the news. The total fertility rate of India has come down, right? So to the replacement levels. This is all, you might have observed this news. So what is TFR? Very easy statement. You shouldn't have gone wrong here, right? Because TFR, it is concerned about a woman's ability. Understand? The number of children born per 1,000 birth rate, right? Replacement rate. So there is no way that you could have gone wrong in choosing option A, B, and C. If you had a very clear mind, even though you are not so sure about it, you should have picked D. So D is the right answer. The average number of live births that a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age. So we have reached 2.1. So at an average, Indian women are bearing 2 children. This is the average. Okay, this is called as total fertility rate. So D is the answer. 42nd question. So we are discussing set A. Okay, so set A question. In India, non-banking financial companies can access the LAF window of the Reserve Bank of India. Now, in LAF, I have mentioned repeatedly in the classes that it is a window that is applicable for banks plus primary dealers. So who are the primary dealers? Primary dealers are those organizations which have secured a special license with the RBI to primarily trade in the government securities. Okay. And therefore, are primary dealers NBFC? There could be certain primary dealers who are NBFCs. Okay. But that doesn't mean that LAF can be accessed anytime by NBFCs. No. In fact, even RRBs are not allowed to access it. On a special basis, post 2020, the RBI allowed RRBs to access. But the window itself doesn't permit them. Okay, so first statement is incorrect. Not all NBFCs can. Second statement, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Definitely they can. So one is incorrect. You get two options now. Two is definitely correct. Therefore, don't think about three. Okay, so I think by now when you're going through these answers, உங்களுக்கு எப்படி ஃபீல் பண்ணியிருப்பீங்கன்னா, you might have thought that we could have thought in this way, isn't it? So this is why we keep insisting that have a mind of clarity. Always go into the exam hall with an open mind so that you can rummage upon that particular statement and answer accordingly. Okay, so the answer is 2 and 3. Which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? Everyone, pension funds, insurance companies, all of them can, because we are always wanting these markets to become more or to deepen in India, and therefore there is no chance that these stakeholders would have been prohibited. So all of them can. Okay, so very, very easy question. You shouldn't have gone wrong here and shouldn't have overthought this question. This also very, very simple statement. Which is considered to be a financial instrument? One is a financial instrument, definitely exchange traded funds. You should have heard about it. You should have read about it. The classes also we have discussed. Currency swap, yes, this is also a instrument. Motor vehicles is not a financial instrument, understand? So except bearing for 2. So remove 2, you have 1 and 3 as answers. And it's quite interesting note that this year, very, very superficially, some questions have been asked. But that itself might have been trickier for you. One of that is this. Right? You know what is primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. But storage of agriculture produce, let's say, storage as an activity. This storage of agricultural activity, what type of sector it is? Food processing. Let's say food processing becomes an industry, and therefore that is a secondary. But what is a storage? Let's say you are having a godown and offering storage facility to farmers. What are you actually selling? You are selling a service, isn't it? Storage is a service that you are selling. You can ask, it's like having a clock room. You store your products, you pay for that service. And therefore, storage of agriculture produce is not secondary, it is tertiary. And therefore, this is not rightly matched. Dairy farm is a primary activity, yes. Mineral exploration is not tertiary, right? So it is also primary because it involves a primary element. Weaving of cloth, is it secondary? Yes, it is secondary. Therefore, only 2 and 4 are correct. Only 2. Right? Maybe by a stroke of luck, you might have chosen some other 2 and also got that. So if that being the case, no matter how the runs come or how you get points, if something is adding to you, just take it. Okay, so only 2 is the answer. Here also, farmers plow, which is a working capital, which is fixed capital. Fixed capital is something that you invest in the early times. Working capital is something that you require for keeping your business running. So first, farmers plow is not a working capital, it's a fixed capital. Once you take a plow, it is fixed. You may undergo repairs and all. There is no need for you to buy a plow every month. So that's fixed capital. Computer is a fixed capital, yes. It can be put into the category of fixed capital. Yarn that is used by the weaver has to be procured every month. Without yarn, you may have all the fixed capital, but if you don't have it as a working capital, then you cannot run a business. So this is a working capital. Petrol is also a working capital. Therefore, 1 and 2. So that is 2 and 4 only is correct. Only 2. So here also the answer is only 2. So Reserve Bank of India, while treating foreign banks, consider the following. There is no minimum capital requirement for wholly owned bank subsidiaries in India. This is wrong. because capital requirement is one of the basics for setting up companies. Even for normal companies, if that is ஒரு சின்ன நார்மல் கம்பெனிக்கே கண்டிப்பா மினிமம் கேபிட்டல் ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்னு ஒன்று இருக்கிறப்ப ஒரு பேங்க்குக்கு இது இல்லாம இருக்குமா? கண்டிப்பாக இருக்கணும். Okay, so this is incorrect. For wholly owned banking subsidiaries, at least 50% of the board members should be Indian nationals. This is one of the things. Maybe you may not have come across this particular thing, but you should have given a guess. Wow, one is definitely incorrect. Who is right? So the answer is B, 2 only. CSR rules. We have, to my extent, I've gone through the documents, I've gone through the FAQs of the government. There seems to be an ambiguity here, but as of now, on a tentative basis, let me discuss this. CSR rules do not specify minimum spending. This is definitely incorrect because you all know that 2% of the profits have to be spent on CSR. So we specify a number. So 2 is incorrect. What about 1? CSR rules specify that expenditures that benefit the company directly or its employees will not be considered as CSR activities. Let's say the company is undertaking an activity of providing education, free education, for whom maybe through that education scheme, the employees of that firm are also getting benefited. Will it qualify as CSR or not? It will qualify as CSR. You know, there are certain exemptions. What will not be considered as CSR? 1, direct or indirect funding to political parties. So political parties is not CSR. Second, day-to-day activities or commercial activities of the company, that is not CSR. Activities that it may be a social activity, but that activity, if it only benefits, understand, directly benefits only the employees, this is the word given, only the employees, then that shall not be CSR. But let's say you are taking a CSR where your benefits, where your companies or your employee may also benefit through that, then that, and where you're not excluding someone else, then that can be considered a CSR. And therefore, right now, based on the preliminary perusal of facts, I go with this argument that it is neither 1 nor 2. 51, right? I don't know, some would have overthought this particular statement. In the if the United States were to default on its debt, let's say you are holding a treasury bill or a treasury bond of the USA, and USA is defaulting, they will not be able to exercise their claims, definitely, because that's for everyone. Let's say the Indian government is defaulting on its treasury bills, no one can claim it. The USA government debt is not backed by any hard assets. What could be hard assets? It could be gold, but only by the faith of the government. What does it mean? The debt, the US debt doesn't have any asset to its claim. It is having no gold, but it is only having the faith of the government. That is, even the currency itself has become a fiat currency. Right? In 1970s, USA has become a fiat currency. Therefore, these 2 are correct. Why we are not able to exercise a claim? Because there is no asset. We just invest in the promise of the government. Therefore, 1 and 2 are correct. The option will be A. Syndicated loan. Okay, this is a little bit confusing statement. So first statement, syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower defaults across multiple lenders. What do you mean by syndicated lending? Syndicate means a group of lenders coming together. So let's say a company is approaching you, a particular bank, for 5,000 crores. They may form a syndicate, 4 to 5 banks, and they may give a lending by taking a common collateral. That is called as syndicated lending. Okay, so this spreads the risk across multiple lenders. It is correct. Syndicated loan can be a fixed amount or a lump sum amount, but cannot be a credit line. Right? We were searching through documents. We still don't have a clarity on this statement, but as of now, this is correct. right? Lump sum of funds, not a credit line. Credit line means you can anytime tap into that, right? So one major idea about the syndicate lending is that you may give an agreed amount can be given out as loan, but it shouldn't be a prolonging credit line. So this is one of the logics. So I would say that this statement is, as of now, tentatively correct, but is it linked together? No. Understand, because there are risks, we are not making them to give a credit line, isn't it? So if this statement is correct, then the answer will be B. Let's say the statement 2 is wrong, then the option will be C. Okay, so as of now, I'm going with B. Now, digital rupee, this is also a very interesting question. So digital rupee is a sovereign currency issued by the RBI in alignment with this monetary policy. Yes, it is. Right? Don't think too much about the monetary, whether it is given by the monetary policy or by fiscal policy. No. Right? So it is the RBI which has been issuing it. Yes. It appears as a liability. Yes. We have discussed that in the tests. We have discussed that in the classes again and again. This is correct. It is insured against inflation. No, just like a currency undergoes inflation, CBDC or the digital rupee will also be undergoing inflation. It is issued on 1:1 par with the normal currency. Therefore, this is incorrect. So remove 3. Right? 1 should definitely be there. 2 should definitely be there. So if 2 should be there, of course, and all the option 2 is there. It is freely convertible against commercial bank money and cash. This is where you might have got stuck in this statement. Freely convertible, yes. See, a digital currency, so now let's say there is a cash or a currency that you have. That cash can be freely converted into deposit. Deposits can be converted into cash. That money can be converted into a product, isn't it? There is a freedom. It should be an unlimited freedom. If we are not going to give this freedom or this flexibility to a digital rupee, then it cannot have that integrity. That is why this is also correct. You can refer it in the RBI's FAQ as well as in the SBI and those banks which are issuing it. This statement has been given so. So 1, 2, and 4, this is the correct option. So some other questions that cannot claim to be purely economy, but related. Okay, some miscellaneous items. India is a member of the International Grains Council. Yes, this is an unknown council. Not many would have understood about this. So India is one of the members in this. Okay, so these questions are meant for you to skip. That's what I would say. There's no point, because unless there are, see, it is a very, say, remote kind of organization or a body where around only 20 members are there in this entire council, where India is also a member. Okay, a country needs to be a member of this council for exporting. This is incorrect. So 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect. Now let's say here also we can discuss certain things. First, mentioned in the new media for low birth, aging population or declining population, something happening for their population or the demography. So Japan definitely would come. Japan has been always in the news for the declining population, for the low birth rates. Fine. South Korea has also been in the news recently. So let's say 2 should definitely be there. Remove this. 2 should definitely be there. Now 1, 2, and 4, 2, and 4. So the answer is you should be taking a call of whether Italy should be there. See, normally when you take some advanced countries, they would be undergoing an aging factor. Okay, so it's similar to Japan, Italy, and other countries which are well developed. They also undergo this population aging. Therefore, 1 is also correct. So the answer is 1, 2, and 4. Right, this 69, we went through it. This is a very complex. We're not able to have that official kind of rank and hierarchy. But what is correct here? Only 3. We made our, see, we are not quite sure also about it. We will again go through it. And if there is a change in the key, we will do that. Okay. But as of now, 3 is the correct. Right? Here it should not be Major General. It should be Lieutenant General. So in all of these 3, either 1 is changing according to the rank and hierarchy, except for these 3. Okay, so we are going with this option 3. If there is any changes, we'll notify that. Okay, so with this we are completing economy and miscellaneous items, right? So don't be worried. என்ன எழுதிருக்கீங்களோ அதை வச்சுட்டு அடுத்து என்ன பண்ணணும்னு மட்டும் யோசிங்க. மெயின்ஸ் அப்படின்றது definitely has to be written whether things are optimistic for you or not. சரியா? So remaining 3 months, work on your mains irrespective of what the outcome be. சரியா? So take a break or maybe 1 week or so and resume your preparation. Okay, so if you have any doubts, if you have any queries about whether to continue, whether to quit, whether I am hanging on a situation where I'm not so sure, whatever it is, have a mental clarity, things will turn out to be good. Okay, so with this note, thank you. Have a much deserved rest, right? Sleep well. Just undertake some activities which gives you a peace of mind. Thank you. We'll see. சார் கம்முன்னு இருங்க சார்.
Okay, we'll go with the geography explanations. Question 1. The atmosphere is heated more by incoming solar radiation than terrestrial radiation. This we have seen in the class, seen diagrams, explanation, everything. The incoming radiation will be high frequency radiation, which cannot be absorbed by atmosphere. We saw that candle example experiment and all. And once when it reaches the earth, it will be absorbed. It will be let out as low energy, low frequency, but high wavelength waves. Okay, so first one should be wrong. Second one, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of long wave radiation. That is why, yes, they are called greenhouse gases. When the heat comes in, it does not heat the atmosphere. But when the outgoing radiation goes out, it keeps on heating the atmosphere on the way out. That is why it heats the atmosphere, causes global warming. So answer should be first one statement is wrong and second statement is correct. So option is D. Statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2 is correct. Next one. The thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to the poles. Yes, even the shape of the earth, we know near the equator it will be bulging. Even the atmosphere will be bulging here because it's more hot here at the equator. So more evaporation will take place, and moreover, because of heat, the air will expand. It will become more lighter and it will expand. So it will go for a long distance. At the equator, heat is transported to great heights by strong convectional currents. Yes, very correct, because the atmosphere will be very light and it will move to very long distances. That is also correct. So this is this is the reason for the atmosphere becoming longer near the equator, because the heat will be transported to much higher heights because more heat is there, and the air will be thin and it will be light and it will be carried to longer distances or higher altitude distances. So answer will be 1 and 2 are correct, and 2 explains 1. A is the answer. Next one. How many of the above are products of volcanic eruptions? Pyroclastic debris, ash and dust, nitrogen compounds, sulfur compounds, everything. This very factual question. We know this. Answer is D, all 4. Next one. Which of the following are correct inferences from isothermal maps in the month of January? So January, we know it is winter. Generally, we call it winter. Though in the southern hemisphere, it could be summer, but generally we call it as winter. The isotherms deviate to the north. See what happens during the winter? Sun's rays, the apparent movement of the sun happens towards the south. So let us say there is a country here. Earlier, it would have been hot over here, but now the sun is moving down. So the heat will move down towards the south. When the sun moves south, the pressure belts move south, the isotherms move south, everything moves south. So in the land, it will move south. But in the water, actually, we know during winter, water cools down slowly than this land. So comparatively, it will move towards the north because it is more warmer during the winter. So answer should be deviate to the north over the ocean. So here they're saying it is deviating north over the ocean. So it is wrong here. The presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream, North Atlantic current, all those are warm ocean currents. So answer should be neither 1 nor 2. Next one. Which of the following countries are well known as the 2 largest cocoa producers in the world? They are Ivory Coast and Ghana. Ivory Coast is in the first place. It was actually in the current affairs, but it was a very rare current affair. This, I would say, it is not a very easy question. Among all the questions asked in geography this time, geography seems to be a little bit easier, except few map questions. This is one that. Which of the following countries are well known as the 2 largest? Oh, yeah, that's all. Next one. With reference to the Himalayan rivers joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj, west to east, which of the following sequence is correct? In our class, we have seen a story for this clues and all. I hope you remember Gomati, then Gagra, then Gantak, then Kosi. So this is the answer. So it will be like this. Ganga will be moving here like this. Here it will first it will be Gomati, then Gagra, then Gantak. Kosi will be somewhere near. At Bihar, it will join Ganga. So answer is D. 7. Rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. Yes, it can be of 2 types. The force with which the water hits, that also can cause weathering. That comes under physical weathering. And water, it can act as a chemical. It can oxidize the iron material in the rocks, or it can come with carbon dioxide, form weak carbonic acid, and it can cause chemical weathering. Either way, it can do weathering. So 1 is correct. Rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. It can contain, of course, the rainwater that comes down, it can react with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and come down to the soil, or sometimes after coming to the soil, it can absorb carbon. Either way, it can form into carbonic acid. Third one, rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Yes, that is also correct. So 2 and 3 are correct, and both explain 1. Yes, both explain 1, because this could cause carbonic acid as a chemical reaction, and this could cause oxidation, that is, it could form like something like rust. Both will cause chemical weathering. So answer is A. 8th one, consider the following countries Finland, Germany, Norway, Russia, which border the North Sea. North Sea, we know it is just to the right of UK. Here it will be. Okay, so there's no way Russia can be there. And Finland, if this is Norway, here we have Sweden. Finland will be inside over here. Finland will be the fin here. So that is not possible. So here the countries are Norway and Germany. So answer is 2 pairs. Okay, next, ninth one. This is directly current affair plus old UPSC question. Look here, this Jersopa. This has come in UPSC like more than 2 times, I remember. So this Jersopa Falls is in the Sharavati River. Earlier, this was asked in UPSC, asking Jersopa is on the Kaveri River. Okay, so actually it is in the Sharavati River. So this is one. And Duvandar Falls, this was in the news in the Narmada River. So both these are correct. And Hundru waterfalls, it is in the Subarnarekha region, river in the Jharkhand region, Chota Nagpur Plateau. All 3 are correct. Sorry, Jersopa is wrong. It's in Sharavati River. So answer is 2 pairs is correct. Next, which of the pairs are correct? Alps, we know very well. It is a fold mountain. So wrong. So South America, Andes, we know it is a fold mountain. Yes, it is correct. Appalachians, on the eastern side of North America, we have Appalachians. Yes, correct. Fold mountains. And Central Asia, Vosges. Actually, Urals can be told as fold mountain, but Vosges, they are block mountains. So this is wrong. So answer is only 2 pairs. With reference to water vapor, which are correct? It is a gas. Yes, it's a gas. The amount of which decreases with altitude. This is directly question from NCERT. So a very basic question as well. So in the air, we call something called as absolute humidity, right? How much moisture a block of air can contain. As temperature increases, the air expands, so more moisture it can hold. So when altitude decreases with altitude. So if there's a mountain, as you go up, as altitude increases, temperature decreases. Temperature decreases, the moisture carrying capacity of the air decreases, which means water vapor will decrease. And the other reason is water vapor will be heavier. That is why it will sink down and it will be near the surface of the earth. So answer should be, this one should be wrong. Amount of which decreases with altitude. Actually, 1 minute. Yeah, it decreases with altitude. Yes. So here it will be more. As altitude increases, water vapor will decrease. So option is correct. Its percentage is maximum at the poles. At the equator, more heat, more evaporation, more water vapor is gained. In the poles, we say the air is dry. Poles air are dry air. So that should be wrong. Answer is 1 only. Next one. Annual and daily range of temperature is low. Okay, so which means from morning till night, the temperature is very similar. It doesn't change a lot. At the daytime, it's very hot. At night, it is too cold. It's not like that. That is daily range. Annual range as well. There's nothing like cold winter and hot summer. So such a type of area it is. Precipitation occurs throughout the year. Precipitation occurs throughout the year in 3 different types of climate. One, equatorial, or it can be this this western margin, UK climate, Britain type of climate, or it can be in some areas of China type of climate. Only these 3 it can be. Okay, it can be this, it can be this, or it can be even this. Anything it can be. Precipitation varies between 50 centimeters to 250 centimeters. Here we take it as equatorial. 250 centimeters rainfall, it is equatorial region. Tropical rainforests have such amount of rainfall. So we'll take it as equatorial climate. And moreover, annual range of temperature, China type of climate, we cannot say it is low in annual range. Maybe daily range can be low, but annual range, it is not too low. And marine and west coast climate in UK, Britain type of climate, winters are cold. So answer is A. Coriolis force. It increases with the increase in wind velocity. Yes, we have seen this in class. We saw example of a car. You go very fast in a car, you suddenly brake it, it turns more. Yeah. So speed increases, the turning effect also increases. Coriolis effect as well increases. It is maximum at the poles and absent at the equator. Yes, this is a very basic NCERT question. That is why we don't even have cyclones at the equator. Yes, correct. Both 1 and 2. Next one. On June 21 every year, which of the following latitudes experience a sunlight of more than 12 hours? So June 21, it is peak summer, of course. Okay. So one above the equator, that is to the north of the equator, we will see days will be longer, nights will be shorter during summer. So it can happen in Tropic of Cancer over here, this region. Yes. And Arctic Circle, yes, we can see midnight sun as well. 24 hours day also can be seen here. Yes. And equator, mostly it will be like 12 hours day and 12 hour night always. So that's not a possibility. And sorry, Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Capricorn is at the south. Here during January it can happen, December it can happen. So June, Cancer and Arctic Circle. So answer is 2 and 4. Okay. Sumed pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments. The pipeline connects Red Sea with Mediterranean Sea. Yes, it is proposed as alternative to Suez Canal. Okay, so both are correct. This is very important strategically because it connects Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. So it carries oil easily to the European countries. Yeah. So both are correct and explanation is also correct. A is the answer. The Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. Yes, it is in the Gulf countries region. We know they are like almost desert region. Yes. No water enters the Red Sea from rivers. Factually, this is correct. So I would say this is not a very easy question. So some such superlative words like only, no river at all, something, these things, it's very difficult to answer. It is very difficult to know that not even one river will flow in to a particular ocean or sea. So this is a little bit difficult factual data, but the answer is both 1 and 2. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Any doubts, you can just post it on the comments. We will give you the reply. All the best. Start preparing for your mains, because we don't know about the cutoff. It could rise, it could go low, whatever it is. Stop worrying about prelims answers and cutoff, and start preparing for your mains. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.